are only 2 drivers outside of the top 10 on softs, 1 driver on the hards. Very unique strategies coming out here with Unicorn being the only one on hards. It's going to be a very interesting race. But of course, all of the drivers now lining up on the grid. Alex Budd, you can see very far back there at the back of this grid, getting into position as we are just about to get these lights on. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Vietnam, and the lights are out, the engines are going, the drivers are away, and Rutanius with a great start off the line here. It's already wheel to wheel between Adam and back row. How's it going to go? Coming down into turn 1, nearly 3 wide. The Mercedes on the middle getting caught up a little bit there. His teammate, it's Arrow and Cactus, coming wheel to wheel through the first couple turns. Looks like there's a little bit of exchanging going on. Nothing too much happening. So far, so good. Doesn't look like there's any major damage. Moen's missing a front right end plate right now.
Oh, and Razor as well with the left end plate. I think he was squeezed by Dunk on you on turn 4 on the exit on the left-hand side. I see damage. Yeah, it's damage for the Ferraris.
Well, right now I'll say this. Squid charging on the rear of Rutanius. He has not let him go too far. Adam isn't too far behind them right now. The intervals and the timing tower will take a moment to update properly, but right now everything is very, very explosive. No safety car off the start of this race. There's a wheel-to-wheel exchange right now. Yasko is on the move. A little bit of connection desync playing a role there. He's looking at the inside of Moen right now. Damon Plays is looking at him. Doesn't look like anything coming out of that Red Bull just yet. Jinakari and Undertaker have exchanged as Undertaker moves ahead of the Alfa Romeo. And this race, well, once we have a timing tower, Alex, it'll be a little bit easier to follow, but so far, so good.
Yeah, I think it was Dirk trying to dive on turn 1, and I think he had to take avoiding action because he had no space, so he tried to cut the inside of turn 1. But after that, I think a very clean start probably.
Oh, Yasko is on the move. Moen right now has just been taken for 10th position. As I say it, Damon Plays is looking at him. Everybody's starting to find a little bit of confidence here, Alex.
Yeah, Razor the only driver to pit on this first lap. Very bad luck for him, but at least it's only one driver with damage. Very clean this start so far.
I think this is what we'd all love to see, is some nice clean racing at the beginning of this, and it's a race that really wouldn't give you an idea of that to happen right now. Damon looking at Moen. Does he have a look into this roundabout here? He jumps off, and look at the patience coming out of the McLaren. That's what you like to see. He knows there's a major straight coming up here. DRS has not yet been enabled. We are only on lap 2, as the timing tower suggests otherwise, but we'll get all that dialed in just a few moments. But Damon, it's a nice little battle to watch here, but there is a train all down through this grid, and one of the most notable things to talk about is that Rutanius has slowly started to pull away in lead of this race. Squid, a little bit later on the brakes into the hairpin.
Yeah, Damon Plays just overtaking Moen on this straight, as I said. Just patience, because he has a back straight long enough to do this overtake easily. And Undertaker losing the rear. Unicorn trying to put the nose there on the inside after the hairpin. It doesn't work right now. It doesn't have the traction. Doesn't have enough traction on those hards. Undertaker on the mediums, best tire at the moment. So there's forming a big train with the both Reynolds and AlphaTauri leading it.
Unicorn right there is sitting in 14th position. He's on the hards as well, and that could be a very, very unique situation. We'll see if the Renaults switch positions here, because Dunk on You might have a little bit more pace. Moen now, he's taken that front right end plate off in the opening lap of the race, and it looks like he's come into the pit lane to change it. Razor and Moen now, the only 2 drivers in this race to have come into the pit lane. Razor's currently coming through Sector 3. We'll see if he's able to get Moen here. That might be something to look at. Meanwhile, these 2 Renaults have switched positions. Dunk on You now into 13th position. Unicorn now going to play rear gunner to hold off Jinakari. He's in the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, meanwhile, back row super close to the back of Adam. Adam vulnerable right now because he doesn't have DRS. The Red Bull will have DRS, if I'm not mistaken, on this back straight, which using that overtake button. He doesn't need to use that much, so he just toggles off that button, and it will be an easy overtake for back row to P3 right now.
Yeah, not much that the Alfa Romeo could do there. We saw the pace coming out of that Red Bull on the rearview mirror. There was nothing that the Alfa Romeo could do to hold off that charging bull. Unicorn and Jinakari wheel-to-wheel down into the hairpin. This is going to be a wheel-to-wheel exchange. It was the Haas that almost went into the rear of the Alpha, but Fubar got it slowed down. Right now, Jinakari has taken that position from Unicorn, and he's not done with the Renaults. He's looking at Dunk on You as well for 13th.
Yeah, Dunk on You having a really bad exit, jumping into that curb on the exit of the hairpin, losing a lot of time, and Fuber just tapped the wall, and he has damage. Alex Butter overtaking on the outside, but yeah, Fuber is vulnerable right now because I think he tapped super aggressively the wall. I don't see any visible damage, but I certainly see that, as I certainly saw that Haas tapping the wall aggressively.
Well, fortunate for Fubar if he does not have any damage, but unfortunate for Fubar that he has the Williams charging down the rear. Linus Kektik, well, he's had an issue coming out of turn 1. Who's that on the inside? There goes Undertaker through, and this is going to be a front right end plate loss for the Ferrari, and I have to say things are not going the greatest for the Scuderia right now. Arrow.
Yeah, I think he was trying to overtake the McLaren of Damon, or probably Dirk. I think it was Dirk's, and probably he tapped the side pod on the inside and make the car spin, and that's why he doesn't have the end plate anymore.
Very unfortunate for Undertaker. Sorry, excuse me, Linus. Undertaker, fortunate to get that position from him is what I meant to say, but we've got Maka right now under threat here. There goes Arrow around the outside, down into the hairpin. Maka holding on that inside in the Haas. Does Arrow have enough of an exit here? Looks like Maka has held on for now, but what a lunge coming out of Arrow there. We saw what he's able to do on some of those lunges in Bahrain. Could be bringing some of those tactics to play here in Hanoi.
Definitely. I think Maka and Arrow have a good rivalry right now, and they're still sharing the same part of the track on the race as well as in Bahrain.
This race, not what we saw in Bahrain, that's for certain. Things a little bit tighter. Right now, we'll talk about tight. Squid has managed to keep Rutanius in his sights, and that is pressure in itself. Rutanius, we saw him in Bahrain. He pulled away significantly. Squid's not giving him the opportunity to do it this time, and we haven't seen a safety car or a VSC yet in Hanoi, and I have to say, we're happy about that. Fubar now, he's coming to the pit lane, so perhaps he did take some damage, as you saw him do so.
Yeah, I think he is going to replace that front wing. If I'm not mistaken, he was suffering a lot on that sector 3 on this lap. And Squid is Arrow and Maka is just disputing a place.
Arrow finally getting ahead of that Haas. He wants to join his teammate. Cactus doing a good job. He's in 5th position right now. He's less than a second off the rear of the Alfa Romeo in Adam. We'll see if Arrow's able to pull away from Maka. Squid now. He has the DRS. Does he go for the move here? It's a fight for lead of this race on lap 5. Coming down to the hairpin out of sector 2. The Williams on the outside. Oh, Rutanius right now. He holds on that inside. Does the Williams have the exit he needs? Rutanius holding on to lead of this race for the time being. Wow, what a defense coming out of the Dutchman leading this race in the Racing Point.
Definitely. Just parking the car where he needs to do it, having a good exit of the hairpin. Probably softs are starting to suffer a little bit of tire wear. Probably the window for the one stop from softs to mediums should be around lap 11 or lap 12. But if they try to do a soft hard or a double stop, probably you will be thinking right now to pit. So let's see what these drivers have on mind.
What do you think about the strategy on tires? Like just the 2-stop versus 1-stop here, just for you in itself. What do you think is best here? We haven't seen a safety car. I think a lot of drivers came into this race anticipating a safety car. They could have even been strategizing for it. And you know, on a regular day, and especially for Vietnam, I'd say, yeah, go and make sure that you throw some strategies out there for yourself that include a safety car. But we haven't seen one yet. And this field has really started to separate itself out to the point where I find that unless there's been major error, what do you really think the odds are? Because once these grids get going, the safety cars are actually somewhat rare.
Yeah, well, be right back with that, because right now is Squid attacking again Racing Point, but this time it's closer and he's side by side already with the DRS on as well. Let's see if Squid has a good braking point, but the Racing Point is still on the inside. It's a carbon copy of the last lap, Is Squid still on the inside? Let's see how they manage to go at the beginning of Sector 3. Is Squid still on the inside? The Racing Point still attacking the inside line. I don't know if they tap, but it's still Retanius ahead of the Williams.
What lovely racing we're seeing here right now. Retanius is starving that energy deployment right now, trying to keep this Williams at bay, and back row, meanwhile, is catching up. Adam is in this train, as is Cactus.
Yeah, and going back to the strategy decision, really, I'm not really like, I really don't know which strategy they're trying to do. Probably soft hard should be the most conservative strategy, as we see Routine is losing the rear on the entry of turn 3. But I think soft hard should be the most conservative, but probably drivers are trying to do the soft mediums, and some drivers are trying to do the soft medium soft. But the problem with the two-stop, as we know, all of us, is the traffic.
Yeah, for sure. The traffic can play such a role, such a role in that equation, for sure. But I'll say something right now, Squid, I don't know if Retanius has it in him to stay ahead of this Williams right now. You can see the differential in energy coming out of these two right now. Retanius is in trouble. Back row, Adam, they can taste it. They can feel it. They can smell it. And Cactus is there as well. Squid now. Squid. Oh, he's a little bit later on the brakes right now. Retanius with a lunge down the inside. A little bit of contact here. A little bit of contact on the fronts to the rears here between the Williams and the Racing Point. But look at the exit coming out of Squid right now. It's Retanius with a lunge down the inside. Squid says, get out of town. And he says, no way, Jose. And he moves straight around the outside of that Racing Point and gets the move done. Meanwhile.
Yeah. Oh, there's a massive crash on the hairpin.
What's happened in the hairpin?
I think it was Linus and Giannicari probably having a tap, or probably it was only Linus going wide on the hairpin. There was a yellow flag on Sector 2 as a Squid just answering, just blinking in that strategy. Probably he will try to put the mediums or the hards to the end. We don't know still.
Squid took control of lead of this race, and you know what he did with it, Alex? He's ticked over the first domino. Look what he's done. He made a beautiful move. He made a beautiful move, and he says, thank you very much. I just wanted to lead you into the pit lane to make sure everybody knew that you guys now have a little bit of a pace problem in this grid. And he's gonna, looks like he's going for this two-stop. The only time I've ever seen a soft medium was a Remco Van Putten drive here in Tier 1.
Yeah, definitely a good tire management from the Dutch driver. As there's a spin, it's Cactus. He lost the rear on the second
Oh,
roundabout,
look at the wing.
a good damage. Oh.
Is that going to be any kind of safety car? That Mercedes is in major disarray right now, missing the entirety of the front wing. Not entirely sure what sparked it. Dirk Chocolate right now, he's hunting down the other Mercedes, and the Mercedes squad is having a bit of an issue. Arrow, he's a little bit deep. He's missing that front left end plate. Dirk Chocolate, well, I'd have to say he's just done what Squid did. The question is Arrow going to go up the inside like the Racing Point? Yes, he is. He cuts that curbing, and look at it. Dirk Chocolate says, Squid, thank you very much for the tutorial, my friend. I might just do that sometime. How about the next lap?
Oh, it's Cactus off. He lost the rear on the entry of Sector 3, and he loses the front suspension, and he's another DNF after Bahrain as well.
That is very unfortunate for the Mercedes. That car is off just outside of the racing line here. There are cars still coming through, but it does not look like there will be a safety car deployment as a result. Rutanius and Adam have blinked. They have come into the pit lane. There's no safety car or VSC as a result of that car being on circuit. That's kind of a big question mark, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, and are still holding Maka with that front wing damage. Probably I would be, bidding for a new front wing and new tires.
Well, Maka, still a hunt here for some serious points and some serious position on track, as Arrow now holding on to third position in that Mercedes. He's the sole Mercedes left on this grid. So a big pressure put onto his shoulders now, and this Haas wants all of that position. You can see now utilizing that battery. DRS is about to come online, but he doesn't even need the DRS. A little bit of a nudge coming out of Arrow there to defend a line. Maka says, don't worry about it. The DRS will help me sail past you. The come down into the braking zone. A lunge coming out of Arrow. We know him for it. Does he hold on to this position? He has to come off circuit just a little bit. He has a bit of a loss of traction here in Yasko. Well, where the heck did that Red Bull come from? Yasko's come up into third position. He's taken the pair of them.
What a move, what a move. It's a textbook move from Jasko, the Red Bull, just doing a switchback on both drivers, not only the Haas, but as well the Mercedes. He was like, you guys battling? Okay, just take your time. I will go ahead and take third place as Bagro, his teammate, goes into the pits. Dirk still staying out as well as Jasko.
Yeah, Maka, he stayed out. That was wild. Now Dirk Chocolate, ladies and gentlemen, he is currently leading this race. And that is, of course, something that he'll be happy to see. He's made it to lap 10, and that's always something that, looking back on Australia, he'll be happy about here in Bahrain. Or not Bahrain, excuse me, Hanoi. But Bahrain, he was plagued with, well, some unfortunate circumstances as well in that collision with Moen. So we'll see if points are on the cards for the McLaren today.
Meanwhile, Squid and Routinius still on the same part of the track. Squid not being able to clear the traffic that fast as he would like to. And now the next victim is Undertaker, is just going to the outside line. Squid diving on the inside after having the DRS. So he puts one car between him and his favorite rival right now, Routinius, with the hard compounds trying to go to the end with that strategy.
That is a very unique call, I think, going on to hards here. Squid now putting Undertaker between them. Of course, Undertaker has all the right in the world to hold this position. Rutanius, look at the amount of energy at the disposal of this Racing Point right now. I have to say, it's not good, but here's the lunge now. Coming into the hairpin, he needs to dispatch this AlphaTauri here. Does he get it done? Yes, a very clean move there coming through on Undertaker. Now dunk on you. Adam, not too far behind Undertaker. Right now, Adam is charging through traffic. Back row in a similar position now. He has Dunk on You ahead of him. He wants to get through that car to catch up with the Alpha.
Yeah, and Undertaker is in a really good spot because if he can hold these drivers back, especially the guys on mediums, think about this, and he has to do the same amount of stops of these drivers. I think Undertaker is trying to go to the mediums, well, from the mediums to the soft, as well as Adam losing the rear. Is Adam and Squid as well trying, have to compete again for a new softs as well as Undertaker. So it's a very good place for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I'd have to say he's in a good position here. As long as he doesn't have any issues, we've seen him after the first stints of races start to come into a little bit of trouble. And hopefully that doesn't come the third time, and the third time's the charm, and he gets things under control here. Undertaker right now. You can see that energy deployment light is blinking coming down into the first roundabout. There's a slight tap. Oh, that's a bit of a tap coming out of the Alfa Romeo there. That unsettles the AlphaTauri. Ooh, man, the Alfa Romeo versus the Alpha. It's a battle of the Alphas, and I have to say, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think there was a tap behind the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri will have now DRS, both low on energy. Adam will be vulnerable of the attack of the AlphaTauri of Undertaker, just diving on the inside. It's almost 4 cars there on the same spot. Is Bagger as well, I think, overtaking Duncan Yu, or at least having an eye on this. He has the popcorn right now, trying to go to the outside of the Adam. Adam will have to defend the inside line. He dives and he taps. Oh no, he doesn't tap the car of Undertaker, but still holding the Red Bull back in this section.
Adam losing a massive amount of time right now to these front runners here. He's lost almost 3 seconds to Rutanius ahead. He was in that train when these drivers came in. And you know who's along for this ride is Back Row. He's not going to be too thrilled about it as Dirk Chocolate and Yasko come into the pit lane to get off of those starting tires. Finally, they're coming in for mediums.
Yeah. I think this is massive for Dirk and Jasko. They lost a lot of time on these last laps of the softs, where the softs have the cliff, but Dirk and Jasko gained a lot of time with this traffic, which was just slowing down the guys like Adam, Backrow, or Duncan Yu, as well as Rutanius a little bit. But and then I think Dirk and Jasko have this race easier.
Definitely a strategy differential now as Adam. Oh, there's more exchanging coming through the roundabout heading into the long straight of Sector 2 as Adam Undertaker, back row, all in close proximity. Jinakari now has been overtaken by Maka, and Jinakari is also the only driver on grid presently with 3 seconds, which is not something you want to do now. Back row with a front row seat. He's trying to thread the needle. A little bit of contact on the side pod, or on the wheelbase of that AlphaTauri. Adam gets third, back row gets fourth, Undertaker's dropped, and this is what these drivers needed to do. I just don't know if that was, well, that was quite interesting.
I think he was trying to go for a move on a space that was just it was super tight, and meanwhile it was Atom doing the overtake on the AlphaTauri, so it was super difficult to take 2 places on one shot. But he was trying, he had the momentum, but he was only able to take 1 spot of Undertaker at the moment.
We take a look at the front of this grid right now as Squid leading this race ahead of Rutanius, who started the race on pole position. It's a battle between the 2 front row runners right now. Squid presently with the upper hand, as Rutanius now 1.3, nearly 1.4 seconds behind. There is a tire differential. Squid on the mediums, Rutanius on the hards. Energy right now and the deployment seems to be even. We switch back now, just 3, nearly 4 seconds behind them. We have Adam in back row, and it is tight between the Red Bull and the Alpha, and we'll see if back row has an answer for that 3rd position or a solution to get it.
I think he should have, because he has more battery to play with than Adam. Probably not right now, not in this lap. I think he's trying to save a little bit. Meanwhile, Adam just on low battery is blinking. The red light is blinking, so we know he's under 10% of battery, as Duncan Yu takes the 5th place, dropping the AlphaTauri to 6th.
Yeah, right now Duncan Yu showing a little bit more pace on the 12-lap old mediums right now, but that DRS playing such a role here. Now we've got another exchange, Yasko and Maka, as Yasko has taken 8th position from the Haas. Damon Plays is currently 3.4 seconds off of this Haas, and he is on 1 lap older medium rubber. He has a little bit of a train following him right now. As I say it, Arrow, Jinakari, quite tight. Arrow, 11th position. Jinakari on the worn tires.
Yeah, meanwhile, Razor, the Ferrari driver, after the damage he had on lap 1, doing an overtake on Moen, but he has a very bad exit of the hairpin, and it's Moen taking the place back on this S section. It will be massive for the Ferrari. He needs to clear this traffic. He's on better tires than Moen, and Moen losing the rear, almost touching the front wing of the Ferrari, but everything clean as far as we see.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Alex. I had my view on something completely different. A little bit of an issue there between the Ferrari of Linus and 4-door sedan. Not sure if it was desync, but well, I don't know if there was debris or damage taken as a result of that exchange, but stewards may look at that later. Undertaker right now has Dirk Chocolate arcing up his rear.
Yeah, and the gap between the both leaders, Squid and Rutanius, is increasing, but I don't think it's increasing as much as Squid would like to. Think about Squid having to take all that.
Oh, hold the phone. Dirk Chocolate, he overtook Undertaker, and he's just made it 2 into the hairpin because he's taken 5th, and Undertaker says hello to Dunk on You and says, well, what'd you let him through like that for? I'm gonna just follow him. I have to say, that was neatly done. That was neatly done.
And Arrow as well, overtaking the other McLaren, but goes a little bit hot on the first turn of Sector 3 and loses the back end, almost tapping the wall. Arrow doing a little bit of mistakes when he needs to push right now, is on the same strategy as the McLaren.
Nicely done from Dirk Chocolate. He'll be happy with that move right now. Jinakari, Linus exchanging. Jinakari on fresh hards. Less than half a second the gap between him and the 15th position Ferrari driver. I'm going to switch up to Dunk on You, as he's very tight to Undertaker still, as they have both declined to come into the pit lane here so far.
Yeah, those new hards for Jinakari, I don't know if they are working as much as he would like to. For their sedan, losing a place with Alex Budd, jumps into the pit. I don't know if he had damage, the AlphaTauri.
Well, a couple of positions gained now as a result of the pit stops. You see Moen, Razor, four-door, all in the pit lane. Alex Budd will move into 15th position. Dunk on
Yeah,
you.
meanwhile, yep, dunk on you.
Yeah, that DRS so strong here, Alex.
It is. We can see it is the Renault on the inside, just easy as he likes. Probably not that easy because he
Oh!
goes super wide. He has damage. He locks the fronts. I think it was a double lockup. He goes straight into the wall, and I think that's orange damage, Striff.
Yeah, he's missing a major amount of that front right, and it was going from great to really bad inside of that hairpin, I have to say. He had such a great carry of speed. Now Yasko is seriously barking up his rearview mirror right now. Yasko on these fresh mediums. I think we're going to see Dunk on You come in here. There he goes. Yasko was going to be thrilled about that.
Yeah, meanwhile, Maka gaining a lot of time with the traffic Jasko had on the Sector 3 section. So it was Maka's just cutting the gap enough to have right now DRS against the Red Bull driver.
This race has really spaced itself out, Alex, and I have to say, I'm going to bring it up. People are going to say, why'd you have to bring it up? But I'm going to bring it up. We have not yet had a virtual safety car or a safety car here. We're on lap 16 of the first of 5 Vietnam Grand Prix that we'll be hosting on the MRL channel this week.
Yep, I actually think we had only one major incident, or kind of major incident, was the Mercedes of Cactus going straight to the wall on the entry of Sector 3 as IndyCar loses the rear after turn 2. Sorry, with those hards probably not taking the best profit on the wide compound.
Oh, Yasko with a major extend of the braking coming into the hairpin there. He saw Undertaker struggling, and he almost made that work, I have to say. It was a little bit of wishful thinking, but he tried.
Yeah, super close to the rear of the AlphaTauri, as we saw on the lap before, but with another car ahead of him. This time Undertaker, sorry, without damage. But what a dive from the Red Bull on the second to last corner. But he squeezes the AlphaTauri, and the AlphaTauri loses the right aim plate. I don't know if the stewards will have a look on that, but it's Undertaker losing 2 spots and a portion of his front wing.
I know one aerodynamicist that's going to be very pissed off about that AlphaTauri front wing.
Definitely.
That is bad luck.
Yeah, meanwhile, back row super close of Adam, just shy of the DRS. I think he lost it now. Just when I was jumping on board of him, he lost 3/10 before the DRS detection, so I think he will not have the DRS. I was talking about back row and Adam before, sorry, and it was back row just behind Adam, and we were comparing the ERS deployment, and Adam just made the gap. They were like half a second. It was the gap before, but now it's Adam just pushing. I think back row dropped off that window.
Right now, keeping an eye on Linus as he's lost out to Jinakari. Just taking a look at the back of the field right now because he's got that DRS, and I wonder if he has enough pace to really keep himself with Jinakari here. Penalty starting to come across. A little bit of a tap coming out of Linus on Ginny there. Jinakari has that 3 seconds right now, and if Linus is able to keep in range, that'll be at least a position. Maybe not points, but this is still, well, we still got a little bit of racing to go here. We're on lap 18 now as the leaders cross the line, and that's one thing to talk about is that gap has been maintained over that 1 second mark. Squid is on the mediums, though.
Definitely, I think this is going so good for Rotenius. Right now, he just needs to hold this gap to the car in front. Squid will have to pit again if he wants to go to the end, because those mediums, I think he pitted on lap 9. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm really not sure those mediums are going to the end strip.
Gonna be a real tough nut to crack and manage those to the end of this race. But look at the gap right now. It just extended to 1.6. So there's something going on over there. Over at Williams, they're doing something on that pit wall, I think. And right now, Gianakari needs to do some work because Linus has taken that 13th position back. And excuse me, as we have an overtake here, as I've only just missed it, Backrow and Adam exchanging into the hairpin, and these two are still doing the dance here.
Yeah, we were talking about this. It was Bagro and Adam gap, but I think Bagro just pushed enough of his battery to get inside that window of DRS, and now he just overtakes Adam and has more energy to play with. So it's Bagro making a good move, and probably it's crucial right now because I think these mediums are starting to die, Striff.
I think you're right. I think you're right. That gap right now is starting to come down. There he goes. Well, Squid. That's what Squid. 10 laps. 9 laps for... this is going to be intense now.
Yeah. Right now I'm thinking probably Squid is trying to save his tires and try to go to the end. Because probably he's seeing that he cannot recover all the time he loses on the pit lane if he has to pit. So probably is Squid thinking about not pitting again and try to bring those mediums to the end.
It's a very, very key question, but I'm going to have to wait to answer it as Yasko and Maka are having a major, major battle right now. Yasko is missing a front right end plate. Maka clears him for 6th. Not entirely sure if there was contact between them. I don't recall where Yasko took that end plate off. I don't believe I saw it. Not sure if you did, but Maka has pulled out a major, major exit on this Red Bull. 1 second already. I don't know if Yasko's going to have DRS. No, I don't think he got it.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that is not good for the Red Bull.
Yeah, that's well, it's a very bad for the Red Bull as he locks up because the lack of downforce on the front end of his car. Meanwhile, I think it was an exchange between both. Reynolds is still Unicorn the Hearts, still pushing for that 10th place against his teammate. Is Duncan Yu on the inside with new softs, but I think it's an easy work for Duncan Yu.
Switching back now. Gianakari, Squid into the pit lane, but Gianakari and Linus are having an absolutely heated exchange coming down into this hairpin right now. I thought there was team orders coming through at the Renault, so we took a look away. But right now, I'll tell you something. Gianakari is ahead of this Ferrari, but the Ferrari's looking back to the inside. Ginny extends down through the hairpin. What's the exit going to be like on these 11-lap-old hards? It's not going to be enough here. Ginny holds it in 13th, but these two have just been continuing and continuing to do this dance. But Ginny has that 3-second time penalty, and now it's Squid into 6th position. 1.7 seconds the gap to Maka ahead. The gap right now between Maka and the driver ahead of him is 11.5. We are on lap 20 of this race, and Linus has just taken a 3-second time penalty, making him even Stevens with Mr. Gianakari ahead of him.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's Dirk on the DRS of Adam. Dirk with much fresher mediums, and he's going to commit to the move on the outside line. Let's see, because Adam just holding the inside is the McLaren on the curb on the exit of the hairpin, but it's still Adam ahead holding that P3 strip.
Dirk is in a good position here. He has some of the fresher mediums on that McLaren right now, and with that penalty in the Alfa Romeo camp, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what could be in it for the McLarens today. Damon, he's currently sticking well with Arrow within a second, and that's 7th position ahead of him. And now we've got another pit. Adam is into the pit lane, and that puts Dirk Chocolate, ladies and gentlemen, into 3rd position with a significant gap behind him. A very significant gap, I have to say.
Yeah, and he has still back row to pit. If I'm not mistaken, back row will have to go again on the pit lane, so I think that should be another easy place for the McLaren squad. Retinius, meanwhile, still crossing alone on this race, and I think he will, well, definitely he is trying to go to the end with those hearts. Easy.
Maka under threat from the fresh soft runner of Squid. Look at the speed. unbelievable pace coming out of that Williams down the straight right now, and there's not a lot that 9-lap-old mediums are going to be able to do about that. But I have to say, could Squid have made a mistake here? Because think about it, if he had waited and taken him into the hairpin, oh, Maka might be able to do something here if he has DRS. But look at this, I don't know, the softs are just carrying that Williams so fast ahead, but he has a penalty. 3 seconds.
That penalty is definitely going to kill him at the end of the race, because probably we can see a safety car. We didn't see any of a full yellow flag on the track. So
Damon on the outside of Arrow into the hairpin. He was looking for a move. Arrow's had a slip out of the rear coming out of the exit. Adam just ahead. He's on fresh soft, so he'll more than likely be starting to pull away. But Damon, he has his eyes set on an extra pair of points there in that Mercedes. And one thing to talk about is the gap that Squid's already been able to pull away on Maka has been worked out to nearly 1.5 seconds. We take a look at the gap between the front three right now. Rutanius is in lead of this race, 2.7 seconds the gap to back row, with Dirk Chocolate in third, 1.6 seconds behind him. They are currently 10.7 seconds clear of falling out of podium positions. More so if you consider the fact that Squid does have that penalty, so things could be looking up for Dirk after 2 very unfortunate beginning rounds, and Rutanius could be looking to make it 2 in a row.
yeah, I think Rutanius has this easy back row. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to try to bring those mediums to the end, because he didn't pit at the same lap as Squid for new softs. So I think he's trying to hold that tire wear on those mediums and try to cross and blind with those.
Still a good chunk of racing left to be had here, as we are on lap 22 out of 28. 12-lap-old hards, 12-lap-old mediums, 9-lap-old mediums in the top 3 right now, but you have a fresh soft runner hunting them down. Although he has a penalty, I wonder within the next 6 laps if he'll be able to do anything about that gap and maybe put a little bit of pressure on Mr. Dirk Chocolate.
Yeah, I think these softs right now are lapping probably 2 laps faster than the mediums of back row or the hards of Rutanius. I don't know about the mediums of Dirk, because are fresher.
Unicorn. Sorry to interrupt you there, Alex. He's taken Jinakari on these fresh softs. It looks like he might have forced Jinakari into a little bit of an error coming through that roundabout.
Yeah, Unicorn as well, starting this race on the hards. I told you probably he was going to do impressive stuff with the reverse strategy, but I think putting the hards at the first team was a mistake for him.
Adam collects the 137.219, fastest lap of this campaign so far. Meanwhile, Dirk Chocolate is dancing in and out of that DRS zone, that DRS range of back row ahead. He wants to capture that bull.
Yeah, Atom's super close of the back end of Maka. Is trying to find a gap. I don't think this is a overtaking spot, at least not that far back. Adam just closing the gap super quickly on this second roundabout of Vietnam. We'll see the exit the Alfa Romeo has. He uses a little bit of overtake, and I think this will be an easy overtake, still using a little bit of DRS. Now super close, side by side before the DRS detections, well, not detection, but the DRS functioning zone. So he'll have 5th place easily, but he has to create the gap because he has a penalty.
Yeah, that's right. The penalties always play a role here, and I have to say, there has not been that many penalties. And coming into this race, everybody had a very large idea of what might happen. And this race has gone against a lot of odds here. Yasko with a serious charge on the inside of Arrow now for this final points position. A big lunge coming out of him for 10th, and he gets that move done. Both drivers on fresh softs, or much fresher softs compared to the front end of this grid, I'll tell you that. But it is 10th position in the hands of the Red Bulls right now.
Yeah, one more point the Red Bull squad will have. And right now, the Mercedes without any point at this point of the race.
Dirk Chocolate within half a second of back row now in this fight for second position. The move hasn't come just yet. We're still looking on with Arrow and Yasko. Just a little bit. watching that slowly unfold, but we are going to follow along with this fight for podium position as back row has the McLaren in his rearview mirror. We know the ability of DRS down this straight. Dark Chocolate not utilizing a lot of battery at the moment. The DRS now in the rear is open. Arrow has just taken a 3-second time penalty, Alex.
Yeah, I don't think that. Well, I don't think that will affect a lot because, well, probably only with the battle of Jasko. But I think Jasko has more pace. As I think they're battling, they're side by side.
Arrow getting through once again. Not making it easy for that Red Bull. Not making it easy for that Red Bull at all. But he is going to have another run. Coming down into the hairpin.
Yeah, and Jasko's just taking the place back. But Arrow just diving on the inside. Is Jasko locking the tires? Arrow pushing a little bit wide that Red Bull, losing the rear on the curb. Jasko, and it's Arrow by going to P10, and Dark Chocolate is still catching the back of Bacaro as I see four-door sedan having a spin out of turn 4.
Well, not a lot of gaps now on this grid to look at other than the gap for P2 as Dark Chocolate now is continuing his charge on the rear of this Red Bull. Fairly, well, I have to say the Red Bull has a little bit of an ERS advantage right now, Alex, but of course that DRS for Dirk plays massively here. And back row will not have it on Rutanius.
No, but probably with the lap car of four-door sedan. Let's see, because right now is back. No, he won't have it. He won't have it, but he wasted a lot of energy just to clear a little bit of gap against Dirk. Dirk as well low on battery. I think they have the same amount right now.
I think that back row is in a good position heading into that straight, but he's having to utilize more energy than Dark Chocolate on a regular lap because Dark Chocolate has that major DRS advantage.
Yeah, but I think he's not using it. Well, he's not taking the profit he would like to have. So he's not gaining that much on the DRS. I think he should have made the overtake before to take profit of the fresher tires on that McLaren.
Rutanius 3 seconds ahead of back row now, 16 lap old hards. Right now the gap with Squid is 4 seconds and it is coming down.
Yeah, Dirk, I think he had a mistake on this first sector, at least the first turn or the last 2 corners, because he almost dropped. He's actually offside. Well, he's not on the DRS window of the Red Bull, so he's losing a lot of time right now without that DRS. Probably this can be critical for the McLaren. Meanwhile, Backrow trying to push as much as he can, because this is critical stage of the race. Only 2 laps and a half to go.
Well, that Dark Chocolate better keep the DRS because if he doesn't have that DRS, Squid will have a bit of an easier time catching up with him.
Yeah, definitely. As we see, Arrow, I think, is closing the gap on Undertaker. A little more of battery, but I think the Mercedes trying to gain places back because I think he had damage on the beginning of this race after Cactus spun in front of him. So Arrow on the back straight, not using that much overtake. Undertaker, meanwhile, with low battery deployment. Arrow using the DRS as well to clear this AlphaTauri is going in the inside. Another drive for the Mercedes driver, this time cleaner than on Jasko's, but is Arrow going through after the hairpin?
That's the big question. That's the big question. I mean, you have Arrow right now. He's got this penalty. He needs to take off. He needs to absolutely take off to clear Undertaker here. Undertaker, he's been having a very dynamic race, I have to say. He had some contact earlier. He lost that end plate. He came in. He got it handled. He's in the points right now. He's got a major gap behind him. In Yasko, 14.4 seconds. We're on lap 27 now. We're on the penultimate lap of this race.
Yeah, and I think Rogenius has this victory tied on his belt. It's a back-to-back win at this moment. I'm not. I don't want to jinx it for him for the Racing Point, but I think it's super clear for him as Derek is trying to push. Let's see if he's close enough of the back row, but I think he's not as Jasko retires on the pit lane.
A very unfortunate race for Yasko. He's retired just on the penultimate lap of this race. Look at Dirk now. Oh, back row, giving him a little bit of a look there. There's a Racing Point who went deep.
Yeah, I think it was Moen trying to not disturb on that battle for P2. I think he did a good job just going around, well, just going wide at the runoff area as Arrow overtakes Duncan Yu for 8th place.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a last moment battle, I think, for a few points positions in these drivers at the back end of the points. Right now, Dirk getting a little bit squirrely on the curbing, chasing down back row right now. We're about to head into the final lap of this race. There it is, Rutanius, the Racing Point, crossing this line, leading this race into the final lap. Back row, 4.1 seconds of the gap. He's got Dirk Chocolate hot on his heels, just sitting in his rearview mirror, less than half a second. The McLaren right now, wanting to get as far up onto that podium as he can. It looks like first might be out of touch, but second is right in front of him.
Yeah, and Squid still lurking for that podium. I think with the penalty will be impossible, but these cars, I think they're still in a good shape. So he's trying to catch the DRS for the next back straight, but it's Dirk super close of the back row. The Red Bull still ahead of the McLaren. Let's see, because back row is still using that ERS. Dirk with a little bit more on the tank as well. He will have the DRS and the slipstream to utilize on this back straight. Let's see, because it's Dirk draining that battery down on this back straight. Is still the McLaren. He will try to look for the outside line. Is back row holding the brakes as well? Double lockup for the McLaren though, but is still back row holding the place. Squid not on the back of Dirk immediately, so he's not able to catch any position on the last lap. And still back row, I think he will take the place to the final turn.
Look at Squid. He's caught up to all of this here on the final lap, and he wanted to get through on this, I imagine, but that penalty is going to play a role for Squid. He's come around out through the final sector of circuit. That car is horizontal. There's a reset to circuit. Rutanius now in the Racing Point. Alex will cross with the win. There it is, the Red Bull, Dirk Chocolate, and the McLaren as well behind him. Oh, Rutanius, back row, and Dirk, your top three here in Hanoi, and it's going to be Squid, 4th position, narrowly behind them in 4th. Oh, Adam in 5th. Maka will come across now. Well, he'll come across in 6th. Arrow, where will he finish this campaign? Wow.
Yeah, he will collect some points for the Mercedes squad. I think it's 6 points. But yeah, Rutanius back-to-back win. Back row, if I'm not mistaken, 2 podiums collected, and Dirk, massive comeback, doing that one stop, working as good as he would like to, because he gets that P3 starting on P10 on this race.
That was an amazing race, I have to say. A lot of drivers came into this one quite nervous. A lot of drivers thought we were going to get safety car, VSC, the whole 9 yards today. And we had 3 retirements for Tier 3, no VSCs, no safety cars, and I have to say overall in the wheel-to-wheel contact there was just some very, very light squeeze. Well, I mean, there was some incidents. Let's be honest, there was some incidents, but it wasn't anything crazy. Damon plays now.
He has a puncture on the rear. I think he has been...
no, he's been nursing that puncture.
Yeah, all of the lap. I think Damon was on points just ahead of Arrow on the last lap, and he lost it on the second roundabout, having that puncture on the rear right. Very bad luck for the McLaren driver, and both Reynolds taking profit of that, and they will have a double points finish position for today.
That was an absolutely wild and thrilling race, I have to say, for Tier 3. It really does set the bar for this evening with the Americas division. And, of course, tomorrow we've got Tier 2. And then Thursday we've got Tier 1 and we've got APAC Sunday. But the amount of racing that we've got this week and the amount of racing and great racing we had today in this one, really, really sets the bar. I'm very happy with that, and I imagine no one will be happier than Rutanius, the Dutchman, making it 2 in a row for Racing Point. We've got the Red Bull on the podium once again. That's back row, and we've got, of course, Mr. Dirk Chocolate for the first time taking an MRL podium. So I imagine he'll be thrilled about that. Of course, we're going to have interviews in just a short moment, and then we'll be rating a member of the F1 community. We might just have to go and see Mr. Dirk Chocolate today, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think he will be happy after that comeback. I tell you, from P10, collecting that podium today on Hanoi. I think there's a lot of drivers who are happy with this result, but definitely Squid, for example, he will not be. He was battling for that first place or race.
Just a thrilling drive start to finish there. But of course, let's take a look. Rutanius with the race win. He started on pole position, and he took the win off pole position. You love to see it. Back row from 4th to 2nd here. He will collect a podium with Dirk Chocolate from 10th to 3rd, taking that 3rd slot. Squid, he started on the front row. Penalty setting him behind in a very unique strategy. The only one out of the top 4, I should say, on that 2-stop. Adam on the 2-stop as well. He finished 5th. We have Maka 6th, Arrow 7th, Dunk on You in 8th, Undertaker in 9th after a very unique race. Unicorn from 13th to 10. He started this race on the hards and got it done for the squad, so he'll get a big fat thanks from Renault later on, I'm sure. Razor in 11th position for Ferrari. The Scuderia today not able to capture any points. Gianniccari in a reserve capacity, finishing 12th after starting this race in 15th. Alex, but he started this race in 20th, but he only brought it to 13th. Damon, Moen, 4-door sedan, Linus Keck Tips, as well as Yasko. They're rounding out the drivers that finished.
Then Fuber and Cactus, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 drivers with a DNF, if I'm not. Well, yeah, I think that's how it is.
Yeah, Yasko will fortunately be classified as he completed the percentage of the race required, but the DNFs will not. Now, we are going to have some interviews really quick before we raid. I think we're going to go and see Dirk today, but he might be our first interview as well. So we're going to jump in there and have a chat to them. And that is what you love to see. So just give us a moment. Okay, joining us for the first time in the commentary booth for an MRL broadcast and an MRL interview as a result of their first MRL podium, Dirk Chocolate. Dickens, how are you doing?
I'm bittersweet, if I'm honest, mate. Very bittersweet. I'm very, very happy that I finally managed to get some points on from McLaren. I'm very, very happy that I managed to finish the race without having an incident. But God, was that P2 there?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. That was the first thing I wanted to ask you. A bittersweet podium for you, I think. You were so close to that Red Bull of back row in the end there. You guys were dancing around on the battery. You were dancing around with that DRS. I think you were putting pressure, and you were just trying to maybe take a moment, but maybe the moment was too late. I don't know. So I wanted to have your take on that little battle at the end of the race, because it was tight.
So the entire strategy for me, this race being Hanoi, was play it safe, don't do anything stupid. If there's the positions to be gained, take them there and then. When it came, I would have gone for it earlier in the last couple of laps had it not been for the tire wear that I was thinking about, and I could feel them starting to go. So it was a case of I need to get them on a straight, not on a corner, and I need to make it work as best I can. And I don't know, maybe playing devil's advocate, I should have gone a lap earlier when I could have made that move work, but I wanted to make sure that I had everything in the tank, to make it work, and I reserved everything for that last fight, that last corner, that main straight, and I deployed everything, but I wasn't expecting him to defend it so well, if I'm honest.
Oh, so it was just a little bit of underestimating maybe in the end, because he did put on a stellar defense, and we'll talk to him about that in just a few minutes. Now, first podium for you in MRL. I have to say, this is probably one of the circuits for you where you least expected it. Now, how do you feel about getting a podium of all circuits in Vietnam? I mean, you were really looking good in Australia. You had a very, very unfortunate mishap in Bahrain. And then here we are, Vietnam, Hanoi, a circuit that not a single driver on this grid was thrilled about doing. And you took points. So let's have your take on that.
So Vietnam was tricky in comparison to other circuits in the sense of Vietnam is absolute hell for making it work with traction. I felt strong in Australia and Bahrain, for sure, but Vietnam I actually felt very confident for. I really like my street circuits. I like the tracks that really put you under pressure because they make you think and people make mistakes. And with this track specifically, I really nailed for me anyway, really nailed my throttle management in those areas of the track where you can gain a lot of time. So I'm sure you would have seen where I was getting all my time wasn't on the straights, it was all in the corners.
Yeah.
And I absolutely just nailed that during the past week practicing. So I wasn't as I wanted the win. Telling you, being honest, if it wasn't for me starting in P10 and messing up my quality, I think I would have won that as well. So it's bittersweet, but I'm just happy I've got points.
Well, congratulations on the points. Congratulations on the P3. Next week, China, McLaren. As a team, as an individual, how you guys looking for next week?
McLaren are strong. We've got some very confident drivers in the mix. And China is again one of the tracks that's not the most favored in the calendar, but that's just good because it means that if I can get happy with that track and feel good there, it's my track to win. I just need to make the quali work now.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic season with all of the intensity coming out of this combined constructors. So thank you very much for taking the time to interview, Dirk. Congratulations on the P3, and we will be coming your way very, very shortly, my friend. Enjoy it, and best of luck in China.
Adios, see ya.
All right, next up on the broadcast to interview the second position finisher, it is the Charging Red Bull, the defending Masterclass operator, Acro. How you doing, and how are you feeling about P2 in Hanoi, my friend?
Very good. It's a big redemption from an awful race in Bahrain.
Excellent, excellent. Very intense final stage of that race, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I had a race manager, let's say, Jake Design, telling me to save my ERS on the second last lap, and then deploy it and hold the inside line for the last straight.
And I have to say that played out pretty well in your defense against Dirk Chocolate. So the P2 as a result, the engineering coming in strong. Just this season, this grid, was the podium in your sights today?
I was definitely hoping for top 5. I'll be honest, I only practiced about 30 minutes before the race, so P2 in 30 minutes of practice is a big win.
That is a big win. Alex, do you have anything to say about that?
Very good defense for back row. That second place is very good, and the tire management was superb on the Red Bull. So yeah, congrats on that podium on the silver. So see you on China.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Backrow, for taking the time to interview. We will see you next week for China with the Red Bulls, I imagine, in full force. It's been a very strong start to the season for the Red Bull. Okay, now, last but not least, of course, and Alex, I'm going to give this one to you because I think I did the talking last time, but I just wanted to say, Retanius, welcome, congratulations, 2 for 2 now, and well done, sir. Alex, have at it.
Thank you, Surfium.
Hello, Virginius. How do you feel about that P1 after Bahrain as well? Taking that P1, I think you just good. I had a good expectations of you, and you definitely smashed them.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was. I really doubted I was gonna get good points here in Vietnam because obviously it's a really hard circuit. I had a hard time practicing it, but later today, I found my sweet spot. I was practicing with Unicorn a lot. I want to thank him a lot for giving me the time to practice with him. So I'm really glad that I could pull this off today. I didn't expect to get pole today because generally my race pace is better than my quali pace. So I'm just very happy.
Yeah. Were you worried about that 2-stop of Squid, or you were super sure with that conservative strategy you pulled out with the soft hards?
So I was 100% sure that the hards would make it to the end. Squid pitted really early, which we didn't expect. So we were sure that Squid would have to do a medium stop because otherwise he would get a puncture, perhaps. And I was just doing my regular strategy. I actually, in front of the race, we planned on a lap 1 safety car, which surprisingly did not happen. But that's what we planned for, which actually didn't happen. And then the plan was to do a lap 10 stop for the hards until the end. Turned out to be lap 8.
Yeah, and that worked out perfectly. Congrats on the win. Strafe, you have anything to add?
I think it was
Well-
just a very, very consistent drive from you. I mean, other drivers, they struggled a little bit more than you did through the traffic. You showed great patience getting through the traffic, and I think ultimately that helped you getting into the win today with those hard compound tires, because if you get stuck on hard compound tires, it's, in my opinion, gonna have a hard time. But you had a very good, consistent drive today, and you took your second win in as many races, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, I've had word that Mr. Dirk Chocolate is going to be ending his stream, so we are going to be rating another Tier 3 driver that joined us today and got himself into the points. I do believe we're going to go and see our good and dear friend, Mr. George, aka Unicorn. But of course, that is going to wrap it up for Racing Action with us. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have the Americas Division later this evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. That's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., excuse me. Quite early in the morning this evening, whichever way you want to look at it for those in the UK. But of course, check us out on Discord, check us out on Twitch, or Twitter, excuse me. Follow us on Twitch. And I can never forget to mention our fantastic partners, Next Level Racing. Jump on over to their website, take a look. They have some great, great quality, affordable sim racing products there. And Alex, any closing statements from you, sir?
I'm very excited to see what these drivers can do on China next week. So yeah, that's all for me. Very congrats for the podium finishers, and we'll see you next week.